everyone. I'm Kim Jecobs, host of The Kim Jecobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jecobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jecobs Show. How are you, Emmett?
I am doing great, Kim. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my honor to have you. And it kind of feels like a deja vu moment, right? I think we've been here before.
Yes.
Where are you located, Emmett?
I'm in sunny California, San Diego, California.
Okay. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina area, actually.
All right.
So, you love being out there in the California area?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can't do it any better than this.
Oh, I know. I must admit, when I come to California, you do feel like a different feeling when you're walking down the street. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
I went to Rodeo Drive and all of these different places, and it's like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you do feel different, and it's different areas throughout the country that you just automatically feel different when you're there.
Oh, yeah. I'm a native from San Diego, and I loved it here and everything. So, I mean, I've been in other places, but nowhere like home. Nowhere like home.
I know that Rodeo Drive, I think that was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And there's all the other different areas. But any part of California, I've enjoyed it when I experienced it. San Diego, we came out there, I think, for national football. It was some kind of national, Santa Clara. We were there for a national football playoff thing between Alabama and who was it? And Clemson. And they played each other. In San Diego, my daughter had her Make-A-Wish. With Make-A-Wish, they sent us to San Diego to get to swim with the otters.
Wow.
Not something I'm interested in doing, but it was her wish. And also to be able to just run in the wild with the kangaroos in their natural habitat.
That's crazy, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It
really is.
Glad that we can offer that.
And so thank you, San Diego. Thank you for being a representation of San Diego. Listen, everybody, grab your virtual seats, because today we're talking with Emmett Henderson, and he's going to be talking to us about his journey with lupus. And just by way of an introduction, he has been living with lupus for many years, but surviving it for 27 years at this point. So that's a long time to live with any known disease state. You know?
It is. It is.
And so we're going to be talking with him about that. He's also a father. He's also a grandfather. You do not look like you could be somebody's granddaddy at all.
Of a 12-year-old.
Huh?
Of a 12-year-old.
What? A grandfather of a 12-year-old?
Yes. Yes.
Get out of here. So you're talking about balancing life. Now, this man is balancing lupus, balancing fatherhood, balancing grandfatherhood, and a lot more that we're going to talk about on today's episode. So grab your seats and definitely go ahead and share this broadcast with all of your friends and your family members. And you can do the same as well. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, what I want to talk to you about is, how did you even discover that you had lupus? When did that happen in your life? 27 years ago. Yeah. When we come right back, we're going to discover that and hear from Emmett. We'll be right back.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
All right, everyone, we're back and we're talking with Emmett Henderson. Emmett, if you would, take us back to the time frame that you found out you actually had lupus?
Well, to be familiarized with lupus, lupus has a lot of symptoms that pretty much a lot of people kind of go unrecognizable in regards to what's really going on because of the multiple different type of symptoms we can have. As a young man in my mid 20s, I was energetic. I was that go-to kid that, worked. I was a young father. I did so much to where pain and little aches here and there did not drive me to go seek any type of medical attention at all. And I
Right.
think I can speak for most men. That's kind of what we do. We push a lot of these things to the side. But for me, the joint pains were very excruciating. I was athletic. I was doing a lot of things, working full time. But when my joints started to ache, again, nothing that I thought that some rest and ice could put away. But when it's consecutive, daily, and debilitating, I knew kind of something was wrong. But it took my owner of the company that saw me at work, limping, leaning over to say, go get checked. Because it wasn't me that decided to do that.
Oh,
When I
wow.
went to,
So
when I went to get,
before you finish, let me ask, were you self-medicating like Tylenol, ibuprofen, just trying to do your own thing and push
yeah,
through?
absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
I was a young manager and a person of color in a big industry, and I felt like I could not show any type of vulnerability or weakness.
Wow.
So with that said, I was in pain, but it wasn't enough for me to leave out of work because I had a job to do. And again, I needed something to prove it being a person in my position. So yes, Tylenol, cold packs, sitting as a manager instead of being on my feet all the time. But I wouldn't tell anybody. And so it got to a point where it was noticed by the company owners. They had told me to go check. And what can you do at that point when the
Right.
bosses say, go get checked? I did. And I'm going to tell you, Kim, when I went to the urgent care that day, I didn't go back to work till over a year and a half later because
Get
of what they
out of
found.
here.
That's how my career went.
So the day you went to the urgent care based on management saying, listen, man, something is seriously going on. We see that you're working hard, but you have to go get checked. So they mandated that you go get checked at urgent care. From that point until a year and some change later, that's how drastic the situation was for you just by going to urgent care and finding out.
Absolutely. And I only got back into the job just to say hi to everybody. I wasn't allowed to go back to work because of everything that went down and what they found and the regimen I was on for medication and procedures.
Wow. So when you found out, because it's one thing to self-diagnose and to kind of be trying to push through knowing something's not quite right, but when you officially did get the diagnosis, then now you kind of walk within the knowledge of the truth and you walk therein, right?
Right.
How
But
was
at the
that
same time,
process for you?
oh, it wasn't a process I accepted at first. And not only that, but I was actually in a denial because of the fact that I was told I had a rare disease for a person of my age, a person of color, and my gender, and then to be told that lupus is a woman's disease. I was in denial 100%. And I even remember telling the doctor, can I just get my pills so I can go back to work? And
Right.
she told me it don't work that way. So remember, in 95 was the year that I officially got diagnosed. There was no internet, there was no Google that I can search and do my homework on what is lupus. But what I did know that it was rare in men. And what I did know that it wasn't too much out there. The pamphlet that I was given to read about what lupus is had the anatomy of a woman. So I couldn't relate to that. I mean,
Of
it wasn't
course.
me. I couldn't relate to that. So it was a little hard to adjust to say that this is what's going on. Second, third, I wanted all kind of different opinions,
Mm.
but it all came down, you have lupus.
Wow. And literally only about 150,000 men live with lupus and 1.5 million, approximately 1.5
Yes.
million people in the United States have lupus, but only about 10% of them are men. And so you fall obviously in that category. So
Yes.
a lot of men, I'm sure, are in denial when they're having symptoms that present themselves as if it's lupus, but you wouldn't even associate it with that because it's not so-called your disease
Right.
state.
That's
Wow.
that's it. Yes.
So now with you getting the diagnosis and finding out that you're one of these 150,000 men in the United States that have this. The stigma is women, is stereotypical that is women, and that's it. So how were people accepting you having lupus? It's like, what? You're African American, burly kind of guy, strong and ready to go and do what you need to do and handle your business for your family, and you're walking with this disease that's beyond your control. But it's also a mystery because people are like, do you really? Do you really have it? Right?
Right. And like I said earlier, because of the responsibilities that I had as a manager in my industry, as a young father, it wasn't accepted too much by me at all. So I know it wouldn't have been easy to be accepted by the people around me. So my family, of course, which we are such a close family that yes, I talked it over with my family, but to let my boys know, to let my employers know, yeah, I got a disease and it's called lupus. I can't even explain what lupus was at the time. So I did not even bring it up. You know, when I was in the hospital, I was in the hospital based on whatever the problem was. Somebody asked me, what happened? Why are we in the hospital for the last week? Something wrong with my kidney, something wrong with my liver, something wrong with this. But I never put the umbrella of saying, oh, it's lupus, because I knew I had explaining to do, which I really didn't get to explain either. And then a couple years later, literally, I decided to try to get to know what lupus was because I was getting sick a lot. And the first time that I had found out that my city had a lupus meeting, an organization to get together to talk about lupus, I decided to attend. When I attended, Kim, I'm gonna tell you, I walked into this room, nobody in there but older white women. Wow. And I felt so out of place. And this is in the mid 90s. Like I said, I felt out of place to where, how am I going to learn about this disease if nobody looks like me? Nobody is my color. Nobody is a male, not a guy, one guy in there at all. And then, of course, I just decided to walk out. I walked out.
You did leave? I was
did.
not expecting. That's like a twister in a story. I thought you were going to say, and I stayed and I introduced myself and said, I'm going to be your male representative. That was not what I expected. You just officially walked out.
Yeah. And the thing about that is, even up to this day, that when I walk around with my logo on my chest talking about lupus and everything, the question is, who has lupus? Well, it's me, but they don't see that there's not too many guys that speak up on lupus or even talk about it. So if I had that reaction in the 90s of thinking that nobody in here looks like me, maybe they won't understand, or I'd have a lot of explaining to do, it's still like that to this day. Thank God there's a community out there in the autoimmune, world where there's lupus community, there's, all these other type of autoimmune diseases now that get me.
Right.
But can you imagine for the past 20 plus years, how it was hard for me to talk about lupus if I still wasn't too keen on it?
That's interesting. And I would love to know then what made you decide to take ownership of it and become a voice, an advocate for people that do look like you. So tell us your theory on because it's one thing to have something, it's another thing to become like a national, international spokesperson pertaining to it and making it your mission.
Right. Well, the way that came about was in the past 20 plus years, I mean, lupus has done a number on me. I've had almost every major organs affected by lupus. I'm working on a third transplant. I've had 2 joint replacements of knee and shoulder, heart attack, stroke, comas. I was pretty much through it all. And in 2019, I got diagnosed with a brain disease. Now, keep in mind, Kim, my career in the industry, I did really well. So I maintained jobs, except for the gaps of surgeries and time off of being sick. But in 2019, when they discovered I had a brain disease that is undiagnosed, the medications that they were giving me wouldn't allow me to get back to my career. So they would not release me to go back to work. I kind of had no choice but to medically retire from my industry I was in. That was hard because I was such a go-getter on working and making money and providing that it was hard to accept. So in 19, because of the type of person I am, I decided I got to stay busy. There's no way that I cannot do my job every day.
Right.
I decided to advocate for the same disease that debilitated me all these years and talk about lupus and men's mental health, because it was my mental health that got me through all my years of, being told this is failing, that is failing. We don't know what the outcome could be. Hospital stays, so many, things I kept to myself about this illness, that what it did to me. I decided to be transparent and open up because I figured maybe my story can help and inspire somebody that's going through the same thing. In the past years, I didn't have any other brothers that I could open up to and say, hey guys, how does it feel to have this type of disease? I didn't have support groups that I can go to with people walking in my same shoes to learn and understand it. I had to do all that on my own. And now I thought it was time to put it out there as well.
Wow. Well, put it out there, you did. And I'm grateful that you made that commitment, not only to yourself, but to the rest of the world, because people need to hear your story, how you're overcoming and dealing with this. You said that you've had transplants. Is this so?
Yes.
This is like something you just said in a statement, like I had this, you kept on going. When we come back after this commercial break, I really want you to just deep dive on what that looks like, because that's not one transplant. One is something in people's lifetime that if they have to endure that, that changes the trajectory of their entire lives. You said 3. That is virtually impossible to me. When I'm hearing you say that, that sounds so surreal. So when we come back after this commercial break, I'd love for you to break down some of those procedures and your day-to-day routine as you're balancing your life, fighting and kicking lupus in the head. So
Absolutely.
please, right after this commercial break, everybody, we'll be right back.
I have peace of mind with Silver Shield Security, which has been protecting my family and home, along with servicing the Carolinas for over a decade. Silver Shield Security knows the importance of convenience and safety. Whether you live in an apartment, a home, or run a business, they are here to protect you from unwanted intrusions and fires. Call now at 704-440-4688 or visit the website at www.silvershield-security.com. You can use my promo code #ToneX and get 1/2 off your installation price. Don't forget to ask about the new no money down options. Let Silver Shield Security help to give you peace of mind, just like me and my family, and keep your business safe.
Okay, we're back and we're talking with Emmett Henderson. He is a 27-year survivor of lupus. And today, when we're hearing your story, you said that you've had a lot of different procedures. Talk to us about those and how that impacted your life.
Well, some of the biggest procedures I've had that actually saved my life are the transplants. It started with my lupus being so aggressive that when it attacked my heart, I was in heart failure. And I mean, it was crazy, Kim. I was in the hospital for over 3 months. I was in a coma for 3 weeks of it. And when my body started to react and come to, my rheumatologist told me that I needed to have something done, because if I was to have another lupus flare again, my heart may not have survived the next one. So there was a clinical trial that we found, and that was a transplant that had to do with a bone marrow stem cell transplant. Okay. The purpose of that transplant was to try to clean up my blood cells, to remove the lupus cells out of my blood to stop infecting my organs. Because at that point, I've had almost every organ affected, like I mentioned. So I went through that clinical trial of it. I was in a hospital for another month, but I'm going to tell you that was a success. And it's good to, let everyone know that, because clinical trials are out there for a lot of people to try. Yeah. It's something to look into, as opposed to going through all of this every single day of your life through pain, through complications. I mean, we got to be proactive and do something. So when I found out that transplant I was eligible for, oh yeah, it took care of everything, and it slowed my lupus aggression down. But lupus was no joke, because the damage was already done. About 1.5 years later, my kidneys completely failed, and I was on dialysis for over 14 months until I was blessed with a new kidney from my brother. Now here comes my second transplant. I had a kidney transplant in 2013, which again saved my life, gave me back to life. I was able to continue everything, but lupus still wasn't done. That's when I had my joint replacements. I had more problems after that. But then 10 years later, which we're going to go to 2 months ago, my kidneys failed again. So now I'm working on my third transplant, which I just had my appointment with my transplant team yesterday, and they're getting everything together for me. So yes, I am looking for a kidney and looking forward to having this transplant. I speak kind of nonchalant about it, but it is very serious. It's just that this is what I'm used to. I've done this. I've been down this road before. I've been under the needle so many times to where, I believe that God's going to get me through everything. And because of that, I'm going to be fine, Kim. I'm going to be fine.
You know what? You are a true walking, living testimony to the glory of God, of what a person can still do to keep smiling, even in the midst of every situation you've experienced, some of which would have been taken a lot of people. I mean, I don't want to say all, but the vast majority of people out of here. But you're still smiling. Why do you keep smiling?
Because I got so much to give and I'm not done giving. So God allows me to stay here to give. I'm going to keep fighting through any obstacle that comes my way. So, I mean, it's rare for in this community to have men speaking up on their illnesses. I just want to be that voice to say, fellas, it's okay to not be okay at times. It's okay for us to stand up, and to everything that we go through, we can still be strong, look strong, there's no weakness that we need to hide. So
that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm tagging a few men. Actually, I didn't even think I should have tagged some men on here and tell people that what you're saying is such an inspiration to every man that could ever tune in, and even to us as women. This whole episode, make sure you all share it with every man that you know, because this man is a survivor of lupus for 27 years, 3 transplants, getting prepared for another. This is going to be your 4th transplant?
No, I'm sorry. This is going to be my 3rd transplant.
Okay. So you will be 3-time transplant recipient for all different organs and things in your body. You're on dialysis, and you were telling me backstage, how often do you have to do dialysis?
Yeah, my dialysis treatment right now is manually, which I'm doing 5 treatments a day. So if you guys are familiar with dialysis, that's a dwell time of 4 hours each, which I fill up with the solution, dwell for 4 hours, drain the solution, fill up again. It's tasking, but you know what? It's what I got to do. It's what has to be done, and I'm gonna, man up to it and get it done. Simple.
You man up to it is putting it mildly. Okay. I don't know if there are things as real life superheroes, but you definitely need to put a cape on and be a lupus superhero. If there's such a thing that can be created, you should definitely be the person wearing that cape and representing all of lupus. I'm most proud and honored to have you here today to talk about your journey. It's nothing short of miraculous that you're even here to talk about this.
And it's a blessing to me. And like I said, if my voice can just reach out and teach one, then that to me, I'm doing my job. This is what my calling is for. We reach one, but we can teach millions. We can teach millions to stand up to everything. And it's not just an illness, it's hardships in life. It's things that hold us back from what we want to do or what we feel we're capable of doing. A lot of times people feel that, we're debilitated by certain things, but we're only debilitated by ourselves. So if we stand up and just face it, it's not going to be easy. No, my journey was not easy, but I'm here to talk about it. And that's the point.
Is a big point that you're here to talk about it, and that you've survived so many odds, astronomical, unbelievable roadblocks to still be here. And when we talk about how people survive things like you have, what encouragement can you give to people that may not even have lupus, but they're struggling, whether it's with a disease, whether it's with finances, whether it's with relationships, mental health, whatever they may be dealing with? What advice would you give to encourage people that are going through their own journeys?
First and foremost, believe in yourself and that there's another day. Tomorrow's another day. So whatever wasn't good for you today, make it better and do better tomorrow. And then the day after that's going to be better than tomorrow. So believe in yourself that you can do that. All things are necessary. And there are resources that's out there. Don't ever feel you're alone. You try to handle this alone, you're putting more stress on yourself, more hardships on yourself, and you don't need that. there's resources out there.
That's so good. And listen, everybody, we're talking with Emmett Henderson, and he's given some significant tips and advice on how we can beat the odds in our own lives. So he is actually the founder of a nonprofit organization called Lupus Male Warriors, Male Lupus Warriors,
Yes.
MaleLupusWarriors.org. And I'm going to put that up again, MaleLupusWarriors.org. And we'll take a look at his website and learn more about Male Lupus Warriors when we return after this commercial break. Wow, I'm quite impressed with you. And you still have this great big smile, like life is just beautiful. And it is, from your own eyes and how you view it. Let's take a moment, everybody, to learn about CTR Media Network, which is one of our episode sponsors. And we also stream our program there, 350 million households and 46 countries. So we want to make sure you learn more about CTR Media Network now. We'll be right
CTR
back.
Media Network was created for today's podcasters. We provide a safe haven for content creators that are everyday people doing extraordinary things. We have a system of positioning, monetization training, coaching, and support for our podcasters' success. CTR Media Network simply bridges that gap with a level playing field for your dreams to come true cost effectively. Our team provides a premium service and experience for our podcasters to grow. CTR Media Network provides access, support, resources, coaching, and community for our podcasters to win, if you put in the work. We believe that we are living in a unique time which requires you to share your message of hope with millions of people around the world. Remember that the world is never too saturated for you, your voice and message. A platform for positive, impactful media where the content creators are in the driver's seat. Visit our website today by going to www.ctrmedianetwork.com.
All right, everyone, we're back and we are talking with, I would consider, superhero Emmett Henderson, who has survived living with lupus for 27 years, 3 transplants, been in comas, you name it, he's experienced it, organs shutting down, currently on dialysis 5 times, you say, a day?
5 times a day.
5 times a day. This man is nothing short of a walking miracle, a walking miracle. So when we took the commercial break, I want to talk about a lot of things, but I want to talk about your nonprofit organization, Male Lupus Warriors. Tell us about that and what inspired you to start it.
Yeah, it started about me wanting to give back what wasn't there for me. And that was to spread lupus awareness from a man's point of view. And also, just bring encouragement to others with this type of disease. Now, being that everything that I had been through, once I started advocating, I've been through a lot, but to find out that there's people out there that's been through more than me, less than me, we're able to share our own experiences and talk. And again, that is giving everybody the indication that they are not alone. Wow, this guy been through it too, or wow, this guy been through this and I've never heard of that. And then seeing me through it all is giving them hope that they're going to get through it all. So not just putting my name out there, but giving and creating an organization where that also involves creating a support group for men only, that I also have with a partner that I do with. I also have merchandise that kind of exposes autoimmune diseases, being a lupus warrior, being, for men and for women, right. Statements that say that you are not alone, kind of affirmations that are just inspiring, that people can read from you. So I kind of have all of that. And then I also highlight other warriors in the community. I have a page on my website that it says warriors, and people from lupus to sickle cell to mental health, I highlight them, their profession, their name, what they've been through. And it's not me that's just doing this. It's me spreading this to everybody that can keep spreading that, right. Hey, there's hope for everybody. And you can see all these beautiful faces, but you don't know the backstory is they got an illness that they're fighting for their lives. But the way that they have their attitudes, their demeanor, you would never know.
And I'm going to pop some of them up right quick because I saw your page. I went to your page. And let's just pop some of these up. This is an incredible page, by the way. So MaleLupusWarriors.org. And if we look here at some of the warriors and supporters. If you want to talk about any of them, feel free.
Absolutely. Who you see there first is my little younger sister. She had gone through some health issues as well, but look at that smile on her face. Look at her accomplishments as an adult. I mean, it tells her story and everything. As you go down, you're going to see one of my partners coming up right here, Zeril Gibson. She is a lupus advocate. She also has a platform where she had a lupus pageant, and I am proud to say that I was the first male king winner
to Gibson.
Gibson Lupus Art to win on her pageant. So I'm honored on that. So
congratulations on your win. I was going to talk to you about that, the Gibson Lupus Art. So I'm really proud of you that you. I wonder, did you have to like walk in a dapper way type of thing and spin?
You know what? When I found that out, I was a little skeptical, but yes, I had to do a runway. I had to do the turn. I had to do the shoulder shake. I had to do it all.
Oh my God.
Hey, to be the first male winner, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Way to represent and push him out of his comfort zone, Zuriel. Great job.
Oh, she sure did. She sure did. She sure did.
Who is this?
This is another one of my partners, male with lupus. His name is Dion Langley. Me and him got together and created an organization called the Lupus Dream Team, where you have two male advocates speaking out to the 90% women. And all we're trying to do is raise that platform that the ladies have already raised to show the expression from men.
Wow.
Kelly Rosetta, she is another lupus warrior that has a nice platform that talks about mental health. She puts a lot of education out there on lupus. So these people I admire, again, my 27 years to somebody's 1 year to 40 years, I'm inspired by them as well. This is another one of my sisters. She has a sorority of lupus sisters. And These girls are inspirational. Again, this is such a big community that I never knew existed until I got in. Best part about it is I've been received by them all and just loving every one of them.
That is incredible. Now, Autumn Austin, she's been here on the Kim Jacobs show before, and her sorority sounds absolutely incredible. And I know that there have been some connections between them and another group of lupus survivors. So I believe, hopefully, that the Kim Jacobs show is bringing some people together that may never have crossed paths before. So I'm glad about that. Very good.
Yes.
All right. Well, there are so many more here, and I see. Make sure you check out malelupuswarriors.org, and you too can learn about all of these different survivors and what they're bringing to the world to use their gifts and their talents as they may be either living with lupus or, like you said, another debilitating disease, or just supporting and being an advocate of lupus. So these are some, you cannot look at any of these people and know that they have going on whatever they have going on. They're looking like regular everyday people,
And I think that's very important to show because, people should not judge people by, the way they look. They need to people just need to be kind overall because nobody knows what people are going through.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to tell you guys, make sure that you visit. I'll put this in the comments section so that you can learn more about male lupus warriors and all that they're offering, the merchandise, ways to stay connected, programs that are available, support resources, you name it, it's there on malelupuswarriors.org. Okay.
And my bio's in there as well. You'll get to see all the details of my journey with lupus.
So in your journey with lupus, what do you want people to know as like your primary message that you're traveling the world and you're telling people, this is my takeaway, so that you all walk away with this particular message?
Of how important your mental health status is. How important mental health is to where, we have to listen to our bodies, but in order for our bodies to be physically able to get through this, we have to be stated with our mind as well. Our mind is such a powerful tool to where the more we can utilize it in our own healing, in our own rising up, the more and better that we'll do. It's what got me through everything. Again, being told this is failing, that's failing, you're going to be out of work, you can't have kids anymore, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's a lot to take on, but to understand it first, educate myself about everything, being strong-minded about it. It got to a point, Kim, where it was like, oh, another surgery? Let's just do it, doc. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. I mean, it's right now, I'm so strong myself, I feel that I can get through everything. I will get through everything. And again, it's just more a matter of going through the process, accepting the process, and then at the end of the day saying, okay, I'm good with that. Let's keep moving on and doing more.
Wow. And your support system is so important, I would believe, not just with lupus, but in life. Who would you say are your biggest supporters in your family unit?
Oh, definitely my family, my girlfriend. My girlfriend has lupus as well. So I don't have to feel like I'm this Superman guy to be her provider, because she understands that this type of disease can make me feel, 100% down one day, but that's okay. She knows that it's okay. My parents, who've been with me since day one, my kids, my older kids, they support me. They promote me, my organization. They've lived through everything that I lived through. They're confident that I will get through everything because they've seen me get through everything. So that right there, and then the support from the community since I've entered in the autoimmune community, the love is just everywhere. And when they found out that I had kidney failure again, I got word and notices, emails of people that don't even know me, that I don't know, but are willing to test for me to see if they're a match for me to be a donor. So that right there is my heart pours out to thank everybody to even consider that.
Gosh. Thank you. Thank you to every single person for your selfless willingness to be able to do something for somebody else that may not even be a family member. These are community members that don't know you at that level, and yet you all are so kind. There are still some really kind people in this world, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When I'm in the grocery store sometimes, and I'll have an exchange with someone, and I realize, dog, I almost ran into the person with my card or whatever, and they're like, "Oh no worries, no problem." And we have a great exchange. And I always say to the person, I said, "Now, nobody could have caught that on social media, huh? Why
Right.
couldn't that go viral? That for once you have these different nationalities, and we are having a beautiful, almost hugging moment, even though it was an incident,
Yep.
But those kind of things don't just pop up everywhere as a viral thing,
No, one of the biggest things that I know is kindness is a reflection.
Right.
I'm kind out there to people. You're kind out there to people. It will reflect. People will be kind to you, and people are starting to be kind before you even know it, and then you give the kindness back. So it's a two-way street for everybody.
Yes, I agree with that theory. And I also, unfortunately, see the theory that no matter how kind you are, in some instances, there's still some backlash and bad things that still happen, even though you did go to extremes to try to show kindness to everyone that you encountered. And then it's like, oh, well, that's out of our control in situations like that.
Right. But we don't let that change our direction.
That's so good. Go ahead and preach. Now, you sure you're not a preacher, Emmett? Are you sure you're not preaching the gospel over there?
God puts in me what he wants me to put out. And again, this is just something that a lot of my experience of being hit by this disease had got me to where, okay, if I can survive this, so can everyone else. How do I put this message to everyone else?
That's good. That's really good. And now another thing that I know is like a mantra of yours is be the kings that we are. I hear that. When I read that, I was like, oh, we have to talk about that. So when we come back again after our next commercial break, I'd love for you to just deep dive on what it means to you to be the kings that we are when you're representing the men. All right, we'll be right back, everyone. Again, right after this commercial break. Wow. Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, I'm loving it. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you're swirling in the chair. This is good. This is good. I'm glad to hear that. We'll be right back, everybody.
Nothing says I love you more than final expense insurance whole life protection. With funeral advocacy nationwide, saving you and your family 30 to 80% off funerals and cremations. Nothing says I love you more than Get Insured Solutions, LLC. GetInsured.Solutions. 704-499-3616.
All right, everyone, we are back. We're talking with Emmett Henderson. I see you out there, sexy Scorpio. That's a name for you. Good afternoon. I want to acknowledge you. Yes, glad to have you. And a comment that came in from the CTR Media Network. Tomorrow is another day. You can do it, according to the quote from Emmett Henderson. So you all make sure that you invite your friends and family to tune into this episode, 27-year survivor. Hey, Jennifer, I see you. Be better tomorrow. Yes, that's a positive outlook. It'll be better tomorrow. It's going to be better. All right. And make sure you all know that this young man has survived lupus for 27 years at this point. 3 transplants, which is unbelievable based on how lupus has impacted his organs. And he's here to tell his story while today even having to take 5 rounds of dialysis. I was going to say something else, but dialysis. That's a lot. That's his, from the time he wakes up until midnight, he's doing something to replenish his blood. Talk to us and tell us how to be the kings that you are.
Well, it's more about being transparent and being you. You know, as men, we're looked at as being providers. We're looked at as being the kings of our castles. But now women are the same category as well. It's just that every woman that is in a relationship or has a man would like us to be our own kings in our certain ways. You cannot be a king if you're not true to yourself or your partner or anybody. You cannot. However, being a king to me, in my definition, is being transparent about everything. You know what? If I'm scared about this, I should be able to talk to somebody and say that I am. That macho man mentality, it works for a certain point, but at the same time, are you really being for real for yourself? And is somebody also looking at you like, yeah, we know the truth? No, I don't want any type of, doubts when it comes to me. And I've asked so much about my journey with lupus. Are you scared about this procedure? I feel for it, but I'm ready for it. And there's a difference. Do you feel that you're going to have a good life with lupus? Oh, I'll tell you right now, I will have a good life because I demand that. And so to me, that is being the king that I am, because I'm speaking on what I know is best for me. I don't need to fake the funk. I don't need to hide anything. I don't need to, I could talk to my lady and say, yeah, baby, I don't know about how this is going to go for me, but I'm going to do my best. I'm okay to say that. It's not okay to act like everything is good and then I go crawl up in the room and wimp about it. I can't. There's nothing wrong with that, but be for real and just let somebody know what's going on with you. Remember, you cannot get help if you don't help yourself. And if nobody thinks that nothing is wrong with you, nobody will tend to check on you.
That's good. This is so good, not just for men and kings, but for queens as well. We all need to hear this. What I'm hearing you say and what you just said is that it's okay to not be okay and to tell somebody that you're not okay instead of hiding it. That's what I think I'm taking away from what you just said.
Absolutely. There's too much depression, too much suicidal thoughts of people that their main reasons of doing it is because they feel they're alone. They feel they have nobody to speak to or talk to. So again, with me opening up as a male lupus warrior, the 10% of being part of that 10% of men with lupus, it's just something that I see that was actually needed in the community because of the responses and the people that are reaching out to me about what I'm talking about.
Wow. And how has the response been since you've opened up? Have you found quite a few African Americans, in particular males, that are coming forward? How's that?
My emails in my inbox stays full on people reaching out to me. I just had somebody again last night. Everybody from women to wanting to meet to discuss with their husbands about what lupus is like, because their husbands, who's 100% healthy, it's hard for them to understand what people with lupus go through. And then there's mothers that reach out to me that my son just got diagnosed with lupus. What can you talk to him about? There's women that reaches out to me like, hey, what is lupus like to you as a male? So the conversation is a lot in regards, not just me having lupus, but everything that kind of surrounds that. How do you deal with when you had, this type of joint replacement? How do you deal with what's best for you? What remedies do you have to stay healthy? How is it that you're always out and about and moving all the time, but yet
Right. I can't even envision anything that's happening here. And this is like a whole surreal conversation. So
well,
when you are officially going through your healing process, when you've gone through surgeries and your organs being replaced in transplant, there's a whole process to being able to recover and get back to where you are here on the show,
absolutely,
smiling. What
absolutely.
is that process like? Your healing process as you're going through that journey?
Overall is self-care. Overall self-care. The doctors can only give you so many, medications to take and then give you some things of what you need to do, but nobody knows your body more than you do. You know when your limits are, and you know not to exceed to make things worse. The way that I mentioned that tomorrow's a better day is that if you're recovering, you're going to feel it today, but keep in mind, self-mind, tomorrow's going to be a better day. If you can make 3 steps today and tomorrow you make 5, it's a win. Celebrate every win that you can, because in this process of healing, and as we're getting older, and as African Americans, we're so prone to so many illnesses and stuff. We need to really pay attention to that. And the more that we excel in our own healing day to day, then the better we're going to be for anything that comes at us later.
That's amazing. That is just so inspiring. And I think your positive outlook on life probably has helped you just get to where you are today to get to the other side, because not everybody embraces this level of I got this, I can do this. Let me just get through what I have to get through. And I actually do embrace this, by the way. And I don't have lupus, but I embrace the philosophy because I'm a mom of 3 children that live with cystic fibrosis,
Right.
and one child, one of my son Gabriel passed away, and he died having a heart defect that we didn't even know existed. So when I relate to moms and women that are from all walks of life, I'm trying to encourage people to say, listen, we know that these things may be happening to us in our lives. There are circumstances beyond our control, but we need to be able to have the best outlook on life so that everyone around us can feel uplifted and edified and built
Yeah.
up versus we going down. You cannot have that attitude and not expect to have a horrible outcome.
That's that reflection again. That's that reflection. If I can reflect that, yes, I've gone through a lot, but look at me today. I want somebody to see that, feel that, and knowing whatever they're going through in life, there's hope. There's
There
hope.
is always hope.
And I always say, I'm not going to show you how I did it, but I hope that you will learn how you're going to do it.
Yes. Yes. I feel like I'm like a sisterly connection over here. It's like, tell your girlfriend, I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of y'all. Both of you living with lupus, leaning on each other, lockstep, and being able to support each other on this journey. Now, don't
Yeah.
have pictures because I didn't have any photos, but I will tell you that I am celebrating you, your children, your grandchild, your whole family today. And I'm super excited about them supporting
Thank
you
you.
at this level. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim.
What do you think people can say to help or do? Say or do, because sometimes people need help the way they need help. They don't just need help because you're just trying to help. But when you're
Right.
living with lupus, how can people that don't have lupus help those individuals from your perspective?
It's again has to do with being kind and not judging. Just because somebody lacks some type of ability to do something doesn't mean that weak has to come up first. No, it doesn't. We don't know everybody's backstory. We just need to accept everybody as they are and what they're going through. For somebody that's healthy, that I can meet for the first time, not knowing what I have in my history and my past, they'll never know unless I actually say something or tell them, because we don't have that definition of looking sick. What does sick look like? Do I have to be a different color? Do I have to be, decrepit? Do I have to be, we don't know what sick looks like. So for somebody that is healthy to not judge and just accept everybody as they are with no judgment, it's just going to make that person that is going through something feel like, okay, I'm not being judged. Okay, I'm not different from anybody. Yes, I may have an illness that you don't, but at the
Right.
same time, hey, I'm accepted by you, and that's what makes a big difference.
Wow. All right. I'm glad to hear that. Now, on your bucket list, I know you have some goals and dreams and things that you still want to happen in your own life. Tell us a bucket list thing that you say you're going to check this off
Well,
along this
I
journey
like to
called life.
say that I'm proud of just crossing off one of my bucket list items, and that was going to Africa to spread lupus awareness. I just did that 3 months ago, and I got a chance to see the pyramids. I got a chance to do a partial hike up Mount Kilimanjaro.
Get
So
out of here.
no, that was a highlight for me, but that's also what triggered most of my kidney failure was in Africa as well. So no regrets at all, just the fact that I was there to spread lupus awareness, national TV, international TV, we had a meeting with the organizations, with politicians, doctors. That was the goal. Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, seeing the pyramids was the bonus. So that was a big list that I was able to check off. And for me, it is to go to other places and other countries. I do a lot of everything of my advocating through social media. I've been through other states joining the lupus walks and stuff like that. So I want to continue doing that because, again, I can reach people in my town. I could reach people virtually, but to shake a hand of a survivor, whether it's more years than me, less than years, that's what is, makes my day. That's what, promotes me and motivates me that we can make a difference in this world.
Excellent. So listen, we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, I'd like to hear about the 3 types of lupus that you live with, because I know you specifically live with 3
Yeah.
and they're different than what other people do. So I want to hear about those. And today's episode, everyone, is sponsored by Attorney Charles Everidge and with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. They are in the Alabama area, the Richmond, Virginia area, and the Carolinas. So if you're dealing with disability or you're dealing with some type of workers' compensation or wrongful death of a loved one, make sure you give them a call, 704-251-2945. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come right back to hear about the 3 types of lupus that you live with every day. We'll be right back, everybody.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
This has been an amazing episode so far, by the way, and I want to make sure people know how to stay connected with you. So let's say that now, and then I want to hear about the 3 types of lupus that you live with.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys can all find me on social medias at Male Lupus Warriors on Instagram and also on Twitter. And then on Facebook is under my name, Emmett Henderson III. So also at my website that she had mentioned earlier, www.malelupuswarriors.org, and also through email. You want to reach out to me, you could get me through email at malelupuswarriors@gmail.com. So what I mentioned, Kim, was that I was diagnosed with 2 main lupus, but the 3rd lupus that I went through wasn't even diagnosed back in 1980. So one of the lupus, one of the forms of lupus is called cutaneous lupus, or it's also called discoid lupus of the skin. Now, that is where you appear a rash. A lot of people that's familiar with lupus knows about the malar rash, which is like the butterfly rash that people have on their face. I had that when I was in 1980 as a kid, and also very high fevers that I was very sick, that the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. They took samples of my skin to try to find out what was going on. They had no diagnosis. I always end up diagnosed as fevers and rash of unknown origin. So now that actually kind of went away under about a year and a half to about 2 years. It went away. And then 15 years later, I got diagnosed with SLE, which is systemic lupus erythematosus, and lupus nephritis, which lupus nephritis is involved with the kidney. Yes. The other two forms of lupus is cutaneous, the other 2 forms is the neonatal lupus, which you're born with lupus as a baby, and then there's drug induced, where lupus is caused by drugs, different cocktails of medications and drugs that trips up your immune system, and that's how lupus is formed as well. So I have not had those other two, which I wasn't born with it, nor did any of my cocktail of meds cause it, because I've already had it. And it was pretty wild. When I got diagnosed with SLE and nephritis, the doctors concluded that back in the 80s, it was the discoid lupus that had evolved in my blood to systemic lupus. I've had no family history of it. It seems like I was the lucky one that started the trend in my family. Hopefully it doesn't go anywhere from here. Right. But yeah, it's been a wild journey with that.
And I don't know if it's even appropriate to say you were the right one to get it, because it's like, it's so bizarre to say that, because some things that happen in my life, I feel the same way. I'm like, what in the world? How, why me type of thing or whatever. But then I've had a young man that come on my show frequently as an expert, and he got blinded in a motorcycle accident, was in the military and living a great life, and went on a ride to do his church photography. The last picture he took was a picture of the water, because he used to take great photography. And when he drove from there, he drove and had a motorcycle accident that took his sight. A lot of things happened. And his name is Kiwan Amy, just so you all can look him up. But he said, why not me? Don't focus on why me, focus on why not me. It happened, and still be able to inspire people. And I think that's exactly what you're doing here. You're an inspiration to the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What other closing comments would you have for people that are watching today, that may be watching the replays? What would you say to them that you want your message to be?
That you are stronger than you know it. And there's a warrior in each and every one of us. And it will come out when needed. It will come out when needed. You know, always for those that believe in God, know that God is by you, know that he has your back, and also know that it starts with you. It starts with you. Everyone is there to help you, but it's best to know that you can help yourself in order to receive that.
That's so good. I hope that you all in the studio audience, that you're as inspired as I have been this entire hour. And see how the enemy kind of works, because it could have been like, oh, we're just going to call it a day. It didn't, some other things backstage didn't work out.
Right.
But we pushed through, and look what the beautiful outcome was here today.
Yes.
Wow. All right, CTR Media Network, thank you for being one of our episode sponsors. I'd like to thank GetInsured.Solutions. If you're dealing with end-of-life expenses and you want to be able to keep more of the funds yourself versus having to pay it all out in burial expenses, definitely reach out to GetInsured.Solutions and let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. Take a moment to subscribe to our broadcast right on our YouTube channel or any platform that you're watching. Subscribe, and you can always turn notifications on as well. And the final thing I'll tell you is that many people ask, how do you support and invest in the Kim Jacobs Show? It's scrolling down below the entire time. You can do Cash App, PayPal, or any of the methods that work for you. But this is the way that our programming is able to stay on weekdays at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what's next for you? That's my final question, I think I'll say. What's on the horizons? You've been to Africa, you transplant recipient and survivor. What's next?
To get a kidney. So my next is to get a kidney, and my campaign is out there, hashtag find Emmett a kidney. And once I get a kidney, then, you know, it's limitless. I'm just going to keep on going. I have support groups that I'm doing. I have events that's coming up. 2023, regardless of kidney or not, I just keep on going and putting my word out there. So, you know, I go day by day, every day, and I enjoy life every single day. Tomorrow's going to definitely be better. It's just that I'm going to enjoy it today while I'm still here.
Find Emmett a kidney. That's right. Find Emmett a kidney. Everybody, please type that. Share it with all of your social media platforms. At least it'll definitely be in about 350 million households with CTR Media Network. Find Emmett a kidney. Hashtag that. And let's help get this man right here the kidney he so deserves to be able to live his greatest life right here on this earth. Wow. Thank you so much, Emmett, for blessing. I feel like I'm a proud parent when my cheeks are burning. Like I went to a wedding. You know how you be like, That's how I mean, I literally feel like a proud parent. Wow.
Thank you
You
so much,
blessed
Kim.
me.
Thank you.
You blessed me today.
No, I'm blessed. I'm the blessed. And thank you for everybody that tuned in and is going to listen to this and is listening now.
Wow. All right, everybody, listen, have a great day. And let me do a silly thing, especially since I like this. I think I'll take a moment to acknowledge that today is National Brownie Day. So no matter what go down today, I'm about to get me a nice warm brownie, put me a little scoop of ice cream on the side, no nuts. And oh my gosh, if you're happy about it being National Brownie Day, please go ahead and put your comments. And what was it saying? Something about Cassandra sent me this too. Thank you, Cassandra, for sending me this. You knew I would say something about this today. One of my team members here. Let's see. National Brownie Day. What did they say here? Let me pop up this. It says, legend has it that the creation of brownies hails from the Palmer House Hotel in 1893. Bertha Palmer, a prominent Chicago socialite whose husband owned the hotel, asked for a pastry chef for a dessert suitable for ladies attending the Chicago World's Columbian Exposition. And so anyway, they came up with a delicacy that was small enough to go into lunch boxes and blah, 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 go forward. By 1907, it was a well-established and recognizable form, appearing in Lowney's cookbook by Maria Willett Howard as an adaptation of the Boston Cooking School recipe for a Bangor brownie. Anyway, it's a lot more to it, but you can learn more by just typing in the history of National Brownie Day. All right, everybody.
Yeah, brownie.
Yeah, so that bring a smile to you too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, stay backstage if you will. I'll talk with you for a moment backstage. But everybody have a great rest of your day. And
thank you, everybody.
Today's episode. Say your last comment one more time.
Male Lupus Warriors.
MaleLupusWarriors.org. There are a whole bunch of them out there. They're connecting with this organization. And even if you're a female lupus warrior, they recommend that you still connect with their organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great day and talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jecobs, host of The Kim Jecobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jecobs Show.